As runners, we all challenge ourselves in ways we never thought possible, pushing the boundaries of what we're capable of to smash through targets and set ourselves new, bigger and better ones.
This awesome hobby that we share gives us one thing in common, and it brings us together as a community. Whether you're working towards completing your first parkrun or you're a veteran of the sport who's run 100 ultra marathons, we all know the feeling of reaching that maxed out effort and our own red line.
Welcome to our podcast, where your hosts Brett Elsmore and Andy Maguire discuss the struggles, the successes and everything in between on our running journeys, as we all work towards the next time we're running the red line. Hello and welcome to episode 38 of Running the Red Line. I am your host Brett, and I am here as always with my co-host Andy. How are you this week, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Put another TV up this week.
Oh, wow. How many TVs have you got in your house?
Well, it was a replacement. So it was an old one that we inherited. And we just sort of said, yeah, we'll take that from the old people that lived here. And turns out it was awful. So we put a I can't really take the credit really for putting that on the wall, because all I did was take the old one off and put the new one back. It sounds good to say I put another TV on the wall. So handy.
I was going to say, how many TVs have you got in your room, or how many rooms have you got in your mansion?
Yeah, I've said before, our house just looks like an old Dixon's. But we've got it looks like a John Lewis. We've just got loads of TVs, loads of screens. That's
or just a TV wall.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. No, but apart from that, all good. I'm in a deload week, which I'm sure we'll get around to chatting through in a bit, which feels weirdly like a taper. Uh-huh. So I feel like I've decided I'm not going to run tomorrow because I can't do parkrun tomorrow.
Oh. Okay.
So I've decided just to take an extra rest day. And yeah, just enjoy, if that's possible, not running, and then hit the long run on Sunday, which I'm looking forward to.
Excellent. Yeah. Nice.
Have you made anywhere near a full recovery from your?
No, not really. I'd say I'm probably 75-80% back now. I have been running this week, but it's not. Yeah, I'm nowhere near the fitness I was before I got ill, and it's sort of a little bit annoying, but It is what it is. These things happen, don't they? So you just have to work through them and get back up to speed. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, we think we've got a good episode for you.
We have. Yes.
We've got a surprise guest for you, which we're looking forward to having this person on the podcast. And yeah, we've obviously got a lot to talk about, including races that are upcoming for all of us, because I booked a race today, which I'll be telling you about in a bit.
Excellent.
And yes, so we've got loads, including as well. One thing we forgot to do, we forgot the Strava segment last week.
I know.
We just forgot to talk about it.
Yeah, we got to 2 hours and went, oh, that'll have to be it then, won't it? But yeah, we completely forgot to do the Strava segment. So there's going to be a double bill of Strava segment this week. Yeah.
So it's going to be a good episode. So shall we, without further ado, introduce our guest extraordinaire?
Uh-huh.
Well, it's a world first here at Running the Red Line. We've got our first female guest. And we've got our first international guest, because they're coming live from the sunny shores of Malaga in the south of France, Malaga in France, in Spain. And we've got someone to give us a bit of international flair. So welcome to Running Le Red Line, Running Le Rouge Line. It's the one and only Chloe Hamard.
Hi guys, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate the effort to say a few words in French.
You're welcome.
Unfortunately, I did German at school, so I'll stay away from the French. I pretty much all of mine is bonjour and j'habite à Redditch.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And what is it? J'ai 12 ans, but I'm not 12 anymore.
Yeah, no, you're not anymore.
No, not 12 anymore. No. So yeah, Chloe, welcome to the podcast. So
Thank you.
You're coming to us from Malaga. So
Yes.
what you doing there?
Well, I love Malaga. Don't ask me why, because I've got no roots in this city. But since the first time I came here a few years ago, I just completely fell in love with the city. And then since then, I've been spending as much time as possible during the colder months in south of Spain, especially Malaga. So yes.
Right. Yeah, cool. I can see why, because you're not missing much. Because to be honest, today was fairly bright, but it's going to be horrendous weather tonight.
Oh god.
So I don't think you're missing a lot. And your new adopted hometown is Shrewsbury, right?
Exactly. Yes. And apparently it was flooded yesterday, so I've not missed anything in terms of weather. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're my my River Severn buddy. So anything that you have, I have about 12 hours later.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's just started flooding here in Worcester. So yeah, Shrewsbury's probably bad at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. The weather, the rain recently has been crazy. It's mad how much it's been raining, but like overnight as well. It's been non-stop during the evening. So
we did track on Wednesday, and no joke, it was torrential rain. Actually, that's quite. It was quite interesting because if there will be people watching this will have already seen your video, Chloe, from Malaga, because it sounds like you went to Spain to escape the bad weather.
And unfortunately, I brought some of it with me for last weekend. Yes. Yeah. The problem with Malaga is that when it rains, it is torrential as well. It doesn't rain a lot, but when it does, they don't do it like halfway. So yeah, that was really bad rain Sunday, but thankfully it's much better now this week.
Yeah, good. Well, Chloe, thanks for joining us on the podcast. We've got lots of questions for you. And as anybody who listens to this podcast has probably got their head in their hands because they're probably worried for you, because we'll try not to keep you all night because we probably could try our best. But why don't you just tell us a bit about yourself and a bit about your running journey and where you've come from and where you are now?
Yeah. So my name is Chloe. I am 33 years old. I am French, but I've been in the UK for almost 8 years now. It's going to be 8 years in January. And then in terms of running, I would say that I've been running very seriously and consistently for about 4 years. Before that, I would say that I was an occasional runner. I wasn't too much into it. I didn't have a running watch. I wouldn't track my runs. I wouldn't really do races or anything like that. It was more, if I'd go on holiday, I would go on a run by the beach, things like that. But it was never really a hobby of mine. I was very much into resistance training. I was a proper gym girl. That's what I was doing for most of my 20s. And basically picked up running like many people during lockdown in 2020. Mm-hmm. That's how I started.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, we're pretty much the same. I was running before that, but I had a injury and stopped, and I started running again in lockdown and started to take it seriously. And so did you, didn't you, Andy? It was the time when most serious runners now, who we speak to, started taking it seriously during lockdown and really got into it.
Where were you during lockdown, Chloe? Were you in London at the time, or were you?
Yes, I was living in London. Actually, we had just moved to London maybe 2 weeks before lockdown.
Wow.
Yeah.
From where? It's still in England somewhere?
Yeah, we were in Cheshire before, so close to Manchester.
Oh,
and we had made the move to London for work, and then everything shut down.
Oh, but in a way, that the runs must have been quite cool. Like if you managed to get out for some runs around the city, because there must have been no one around. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was really quiet. It was lovely, and because we were basically only allowed to go outside for running while everyone was doing it, obviously.
Yeah, interesting. So I was going to ask you a couple of questions about your races that you've got coming up. But before we do go into that, why don't you just tell us what your sort of PBs are, or what your, where you're at with your running in different distances?
Mm-hmm. So my 5K PB is 18:40. My 10K PB is 38:26. My half marathon PB is 88:13. No, 88:11. Sorry, 88:11. And I've never run a marathon before, so that's all my PBs.
Right. Okay.
Is the marathon something you're thinking about in the future, or are you concentrating on the shorter distances first?
I would say in the future, yes. Not anytime soon. I don't think I've got the motivation or the drive to train for a marathon yet, and I want to keep a challenge up my sleeve for in a few years' time.
Yeah. I think there's a temptation to do too much too soon, isn't there? With running, and I think being patient is. I learn this almost every day, or I should learn this. But patience is a virtue, isn't it? Patience is everything. And sometimes you want results yesterday, or you want results today, and you wonder why you're not getting them. But it just takes time. These things take time, don't they?
That's true. Yeah. Yes.
So those are some really impressive PBs for the different distances. When did you start to notice that you were of a good ability and you could start knocking down your times? Where did you start off? What was your times for 5K and 10K when you were started running in lockdown?
Well, in lockdown, I basically started very foolishly. I didn't have a clue on how to train. So basically what I was doing I would try to run a 5K as fast as I could pretty much every single day. And it's a miracle that I didn't get injured. So I think I was like 25 minutes and then quickly came down to like 23, 22, 21. And I was stuck at around 21 minutes. And then I started to train rather seriously. And then I bought a 10K plan from Ben Parks. That's how I started to follow my first proper training plan. And my first 10K race, I ran 45:50. A month later, I ran a minute and a half quicker. And then gradually in the past 4 years, I've just like improved race after race. I wouldn't say there was a huge, like step up. It's just been like very gradual. And I think a lot of it is just me learning how to train just better, just like in a smarter way, doing long runs, doing interval sessions, all of this, basically just learning how to train.
Right.
Yeah. So sorry, go on, Andy.
So you basically were self-coached, I guess. You bought this training plan early on.
Yeah.
Or was that after a few, once you've got into it and you've booked a few races and then you got the training plan? I know you say you don't really know what the difference was, but if you had to kind of come up with something, what do you think the main difference is that's kind of got to where you are now from where you were? If you look at yourself, 2024 Chloe compared to 2018 Chloe or 2020 Chloe, what are the main differences that you notice within yourself?
Within myself? Well, I think I really picked up the running bug. So that has kind of like changed a lot of things in my lifestyle, because I used to be someone who goes to the gym and runs a little bit. And now I run a lot and then I go to the gym to support my running. And also something that changed in 2022 is that I stopped following a PDF generic training plan, and Ben, my partner, started to coach me. And 2022 is really the year where I saw, I would say, the most progress across all distances.
Yeah.
So
I think it's, if you can, like you say, focus your training so you're not wasting any energy and you're putting not you can't run a session every time you leave the house, but if you're, how you said you were running too fast, towards the start, Now
Yeah.
you know you really now you kind of understand. Okay, easy runs are so important. They have to
Yes,
be. They have to have a
exactly.
certain place during the week, and I think that's one of the big things with all of us, isn't it? You kind of just sometimes you can be set in your ways, and like you were saying with Ben sort of coaching you, did he completely restructure the way your week looked? Did he sort of say you can't do this anymore? You've got to do like this, or was he kind of like try
Uh,
this or try that?
Not really, but I would say that because I had been following this PDF plan for coming up to like a year and a half, I was very much plateauing
Right.
because I hadn't really increased my weekly distance or anything like that. It was just like repeating the plan over and over. So what he did was just, give me confidence that I could actually increase the mileage. I could do harder sessions. I could do long runs. And this is just the way I would progress eventually. So I would say, in terms of the structure, that didn't really change because the Ben Parks plans, you had like your easy runs, your long run, your session. It was like fairly well structured. It's just that Ben took it up a notch in terms of like intensity and difficulty because at that point I was ready. I was plateauing.
It's amazing how much proper, structured, and varied training makes a difference.
Oh,
because,
yes.
If you do the same thing over and over and over again, you are going to hit a point where you aren't improving anymore because you've got used to doing that, and it's not actually pushing you the amount that you need to improve more. So that having a tailored coaching system for you
really helps.
Amazing.
So your partner Ben, then, just a quick word on him, is what are his kind of times that he runs? Because he's pretty speedy, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's got years of endurance training under his belt. He was cycling a lot. He was doing triathlon. He was running for years and years. And he picked up running again also during lockdown. But his progress curve has been much, much faster than mine. So his current 5K PB is 14:42, something like that.
Wow.
His marathon PB is 2:23:50 something.
Wow.
And his 10K PB is 31:20 something. So yes.
Was he on the same podium as Johnny Miller recently?
Oh yes, at that race in Knutsford. So Johnny finished first, and Ben was third. Yeah.
That's incredible. So you're in. It seems like you're in safe hands. It's safe hands. Is he self-coached or has he got a coach?
No, he has a coach. Actually, his coach works with Johnny Miller. Is that GM Run coaching structure? Right. So he's coached by Ross in that team, and it's been quite a few years. I would say at least 3 years that he's with his coach. Yeah.
Cool.
Are you both club runners by any chance, or are you not affiliated with a club?
We are. I am with the Shrewsbury Running Club, which I joined since we moved. And Ben stuck to his childhood club, which is Vale Royal in Cheshire. That's where he grew up. So he just sticks with the club.
All right, cool. I suppose he's not far from home being in Shrewsbury now. It's only half an hour away, I guess, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Not too bad. Yeah.
So how have you adjusted to life in Shrewsbury and the new running routes and the countryside? I mean, it must be completely different. You must be able to breathe oxygen again.
Yeah, it is rather different. I do miss London a little bit for all the parks because I used to love running in Victoria Park and all of that. Yeah. But I also really enjoy how quiet Shrewsbury is. The thing in London is that I wasn't really comfortable running on the roads because it was always so busy and everything. But hey, in Shrewsbury, I've got no problem. I actually really enjoy running on the roads all the time.
Yeah.
So yes, and cool. Ben absolutely loves it because when he does like a 20 miler on a Sunday, then he can go up on the countryside and all of that. So yeah, he really likes it.
Awesome. Well, I've got what we did when we had the Quiney brothers on, our last guest. We did a quick this or that quiz, and I was going to ask you. I have gotten rid of a few questions because a few of them are just too divisive. For example, dogs or cats, like that. Those sorts of things can start world wars. So instead, I've got some others equally tasty. So question 1: Aldi or Lidl?
Aldi.
Okay, good answer. Question 2: 5K or 10K?
That's divisive, 10K.
Oh, 10K. Wow. Okay.
Really? Oh, I'm the opposite. I know this sounds like the statement of the century, but a 10K for me is just 5K twice. And a 5K is bad enough for me. The effort of a 10K, I just find absolutely disgusting. So fair play to anyone that enjoys a 10K.
I just find that the 5K is just so hard because you've got to like really push yourself right out the gate. And it's just like such an intense effort. Whereas the 10K, you can, I don't know, ease yourself into it a little bit. And it's worth the effort of going to a race for the distance, really.
Yeah.
The next question: Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Yes. Correct answer.
I think we know the answer to this. Half marathon or marathon?
Or half marathon. Yeah.
Road or trail?
Road. I'm a road runner.
There may not be an answer to this. There may be. I'm not sure. Nike or Adidas?
Oh, I'd say Nike. Yes.
Interesting. Question 8: Sunrise run or sunset run?
Oh, sunrise run. I'm a morning person. I take a sunrise run any day. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Crisps or chocolate?
Or chocolate. Chocolate. I've got a sweet tooth.
And last one: summer running or winter running?
Look, I'm in Malaga for a reason. It is summer running. I just can't do winter. That just doesn't work for me.
You could not have moved to a worse country, to the UK. It's always winter. Yeah.
I know. Almost 8 years later, I'm like, where did I go wrong? Like, what happened to me? Why am I here?
What part of France are you originally from? Are you from like the south, where it's always really sunny and summery?
No, the east side, so really close to Germany and Switzerland. So it's really cold in winter, but it can get really warm in summer.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, my sister lives up in a place called Metz, and by the Luxembourg border.
Yeah.
And she tells me so often the summers that you get over there, there's just no air. There's no, because it's so landlocked. There's no sea breeze, or there's no, and it's just like 45 degrees sometimes in July, and it's like Dubai temperatures. So yeah.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah. Oh, shall we? You look like you've got some.
You missed one very important this or that.
Go on. I've probably gotten rid of it because it's too divisive.
Miles or kilometers?
Oh yeah, that was question 3. That was question 3.
Right. Yeah. Kilometers. I can't do miles. We don't use miles in France, and I still don't understand the logic. If you give me your pace in miles, I have no idea how fast you run.
We don't use kilometers in Worcester either. It's only Redditch. No, sorry, we don't use miles in Worcester. It's only Redditch. They use miles. So yeah, that was the big one really. So miles or kilometers. So So what have you got coming up then? In the next few days?
Yeah, in 9 days, I am running the Valencia half marathon for the second time. I ran it last year already. So yeah.
Amazing. And how's training going? How's prep going? Are you in a taper now?
Yes, as of today, actually, the taper officially began because I did my last long run this morning. So that's when I consider that I'm tapering now. And I've been training for 8 weeks for this race, and it couldn't have gone any better. Honestly, it was such a good training block. I'm really happy with it, and I just really hope that I'll be able to do the training justice on race day next weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Hopefully.
Yeah, so your current PB for the half was from Copenhagen this year?
Yes, exactly.
Was that just before you started the block for Valencia that you did?
I was already training for Valencia for quite a few weeks. Copenhagen was a last-minute decision. Like, I wasn't meant to do this race in the middle of this training block, but Copenhagen, I just really wanted to do it one day. And I just made the mistake of going on the resale platform, and I managed to get an entry. And before I could even think about it, I had bought the entry. So then I had to just organize a trip to Copenhagen. And yeah, I managed to get a little 2-second PB. So I went from 88.13 to 88.11 PB.
Mate, so what's this? Is it a website, or is it on the Copenhagen website, or what's this resale platform?
Yeah, so basically because they sold out so quickly and everyone was too late to get an entry, they organized a resale platform, like an official way to resell your entry. And obviously, as the race got closer, people were getting injured and all of this. So you had a lot of entries that were going on sale.
Oh, I see. Oh, good. So you literally had days, or was it like a week to realize you were going to do this race?
That was like 9 days. It was a Friday, and then the weekend after, that was the race. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wicked.
Turn it round in 9 days and then go and run a PB is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's the advantage of having Ben, my coach, at home, because he was able to quickly change my training, and we organized a little emergency taper, and off I went to Copenhagen.
An emergency taper, I like that. What did that consist of?
So we scrapped the long run that I was meant to do the week before, and then the week of the race, instead of doing a big week of training that was planned, I had 2 race days. I had my usual mini taper session, which is basically 2 by 5 minutes at half marathon pace, and then 4 by 1 minute at 10K race pace. It's a very short session. And then the day before the race, just a little 20-minute shakeout with some strides, and that was it.
Awesome.
Amazing.
So Copenhagen is part of the super halves, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And I last week did Cardiff, and I said, like, to myself, I was like, wow, if there are 5 others around Europe that are like this, they're going to be amazing races. Because Cardiff was amazing. Cardiff was such a big race. It really surprised me how big the race was and how many international entrants there were. Like I'd be lining up, like in the pen, expecting everyone to be called, Ian and Carl, but everyone was called Manuel, and and like all these kind of exotic names, because everyone had travelled from afar to do the race. And it seems like those 6 races seem to attract
they really attract like international crowds. Yes, you wouldn't think that for Cardiff, but I really believe you. I'd love to do this race one day.
So Copenhagen was it a good race? Was it flat, or was it
Yeah, it is flat. Yeah.
So
it is not as flat as Valencia, but honestly you could barely feel the elevation. The atmosphere was incredible. I would absolutely recommend this race if you can do it. Yes. Yeah.
And so talk us through the race, if you can remember how well it went. Did you have a plan? Because I know obviously it was a last minute thing, or was it just go out there, hit race pace and try and hold it, or did you have a negative split strategy, or how did it go?
I didn't really have a plan. I was just hoping to get around the course under 90 minutes. I think if I had done a 129, I wouldn't have been, mega happy, but I would still have been satisfied considering that it was a last minute race. So I just wanted a sub 90. And then because every half marathon that I've raced so far, I've got a PB, I thought, it would be cool to keep that PB streak going. So in the back of my head, I was like, if I can do a little better than 88:13, which was my PB at the time, that would be great. But my pacing, really, I had a rough idea of what I should be hitting every kilometer just to be around 128. But I don't know what happened. I paced it so erratically this race that there was over 10 seconds per kilometer difference between my slowest and my fastest K in this race. Usually I'm very consistent in my split, but this one, it felt like I was just carried by the crowd. So in some kilometers, when you had a big cheer zone and everything, I would go really fast, and then I would slow down the next kilometer. My pacing had never been so erratic than at this race.
See that I mean, maybe because you're sub 90, you'd consider that erratic. I'd be fairly happy with that. Within pacing within 10 seconds of each other. That's was it your first kilometer that was your fastest, or your last, or was it just your random 15th?
Yeah, like a random one in the middle, and it's one of those kilometers where there was a guy like holding a sign and he was cheering on people. And because I had my camera and I was filming at that point, I think I caught his attention. So he read my name on my bib, and then he shouted like, "Go on, Chloe!" And that gave me such a boost. That was my fastest kilometer of the race.
Awesome. That's all it takes. That's all it takes sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
So during a half marathon, what's your fueling strategy? What do you do for taking on gels or bars or anything like that?
Yeah, so just before the start, I take energy chews. I really like the Velo Forte chews. These are my favorites. And then during the race, so my ideal plan is to take 2 gels, 2 precision gels. Now, I'm still not really good at fueling, unfortunately. And at Copenhagen, I only took 1 gel. I took it at around the halfway mark. For Valencia, I'm really hoping to be able to take on 2 gels. That's what I practiced in training in my past long runs. So hopefully that works out a bit better. I am, not really good at fueling still.
With those precision gels, from what I've heard about them, they haven't actually got a flavour to them. They're just a neutral gel. What's it like taking that down? Is it more just like a texture, just goop, or what's it like?
Is it flavourless, or like is it?
Yeah, it is almost flavourless. There's just a little hint of citrus flavour, I would say.
Okay.
But what I really like about those is that even when they get warm in your pocket, they still taste fine, at least to me, because they don't have that like fruity flavor. The issue I had when I raced a half marathon in Malaga earlier this year in March, it got really warm. And at the time I was using Velo Forte gels, which I really like. But when the gel got warm, it tasted so vile. I couldn't take it. It was horrendous. So then I switched to precision. And in Copenhagen, the gel was really warm in my pocket, but it still tasted fine because it didn't have that, overpowering like fruity flavor.
Yeah. That's something I always say this to people when they're a bit confused. Like, I can't stand hot fruit. So like hot fruit puddings or hot fruit drinks. When people have hot Ribena, oh God, no. Man, it makes me feel horrendous and sick just thinking about it, let alone smelling it and tasting it. So I get exactly what you mean about that.
What psychopaths are drinking hot Ribena?
Well,
is that a thing? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really walking on the wild side. Yeah, that's not my cup of tea. So that could be another one for the next guest: tea or coffee. You're a coffee girl, aren't you, Chloe?
Oh, I'm a coffee drinker. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Dare we dream and talk about Valencia next week then? So what is the strategy and the plan and the hopes, dreams and aspirations for Valencia?
Right. So my goal for this year for the half marathon is to run a sub 88. So the first half marathon I ran this year was Malaga in March, and I ran 88:13, which was almost a 90-second PB, because my PB before was 1:29:40 something. So yes. So, and then I ran 2 seconds faster in Copenhagen last month. So now I've got at least 12 seconds to find. I really want to sub 88. If I can obviously do, a low 87, that would be great, but we'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
So what sort of pace is 88 minute for a half? Do you know what that is? Do you know what you're aiming for per K?
So I think if I run 4:08 minutes per K, that's a 1:27 something, more like a low 1:27, if I remember correctly. So that's what I've got in my head, that as long as I'm on or around 4:08 minutes per K, I should be fine. At least I'm going to get a PB.
Yeah. Well, so your 10K PB pace is sub 4 minutes, isn't it? It's like 350 pace or something, is it?
351, yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like, that's nearly 20 seconds per K slower, but it's not, doesn't quite work that way, does it? Because when you're...
I wish it worked that way, yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite translate,
The first kilometer feels great, but the 21st, not so great.
True.
Yeah, so, and for those people that work in miles, 4:07 a K is 6:37 a mile. So, that is going some.
Yeah, that's pretty rapid. Yeah. So did you say that you just quite like the idea of just a what do you call it? A even split race? Is that what you would like to?
Yes.
that's where the
Yes.
OCD nature comes in. You keep checking the wrist and you see the 408, tick it off, next 408. Is that what you would love to do? Just run the same pace every lap?
At least for the first 15 kilometers. And then I'd love to get to 15 kilometers and feel good and be able to push the pace. So I'm really trying not to start off too quick, not to get, too carried away. And I'd rather run even splits and then have still quite a fair bit in the tank for the last 5K than just going off too fast and then, slow down.
Yeah, cool.
So
cool.
That's the plan, hopefully.
So you're in Malaga right now.
I am.
So what's the perfect thing to do on a taper is to run a 10K hard. Is that right?
That's the little tune-up 10K that I like to do 2 weeks before a half marathon. That's what I've done for my previous 3 to 4 half marathons, and it seems to work quite well. So yes.
Well, I think a lot of people seem to think, will be of the opinion that if you're tapering, you should just wrap yourself up in cotton wool, don't leave your house, and don't do any running at all. And it's not, if you want to run a hard 5 or 10K, that's totally fine because you can just keep your legs moving. But I mean, Brett and I had a conversation once where you were saying that you need to just try and reduce. Was it you were talking about there's 3 things you should try?
The trifecta of there's distance, volume, intensity, and
frequency, isn't it?
Frequency, yeah. So the amount of days you're running, the volume that you're running, and the intensity that you're running. Really, you only want to drop one of those. You don't want to drop all 3 because then you're just completely missing any of the work in your legs to be ready for the race.
And there's, I don't know if, I guess I have felt this, but you can get to a race feeling too tapered. That is a possibility. You can feel a bit sluggish and a bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can feel a little bit. Yeah. And I think sometimes it's good to just get a high turnover, if only for a mile or a couple of K or something, at least a week before or a couple of days before, because what I like to do as a weird little ritual I've started doing is, if I'm lucky enough to run a race in the UK, then I'll do a park run the day before and I'll just run it fairly easy or steady. Well, probably easy. But then the last 200 meters, I'll just do strides, or 100 meters, I'll just do strides, just because I just like that idea that the last few steps that I ran before I raced, my body is remembering how it felt to turn over quickly. And it's like a simulation, what you hope will happen in 24 hours time. You hope that you'll be able to run that fast when you're charging for the finish line.
The sprint finish,
on race day. Yeah. So that's exciting then. Hopefully the 127 will be on.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed.
The 87,
So something I was interested in was, obviously you've now hit taper, but I'm interested what your peak week of training looked like as a training week, and what sort of sessions and what sort of mileage you were doing and things, and how your taper week is going to look different to that. Could you take us through what you did during peak week?
Yeah. So for the very first time, I ran 90 kilometers in 1 week. That was my peak week for this training block. The previous one was 85 kilometers. And then for Valencia last year, my peak week was 80 kilometers. So it really shows that I've been gradually increasing the mileage. Yeah. So yes, that 90 kilometer week. So I ran every day. I had one double run day. I think, most of it was easy running, 8 to 10 kilometers. My first session of the week was a track session that I did with the Shrewsbury Athletic Club. So we went down to the track and we did a couple 800 meters, a few 400 meters, and also a bunch of 200 meters. It's always roughly the same style of sessions, but I do quite a long warm up, and then with the cool down, that was a 15 kilometer workout altogether. And then my long run that week would have been a 21, 22 kilometer. I always do long run workouts when I'm half marathon training, so it's not just easy pace all the way. I've got, roughly half of it that is at least steady pace, and I've got also a bunch of tempo pace and even touching the race pace a little bit. So there's also intensity in my long run. And in a couple of my easy runs, Ben gives me like pickups in the middle. So it's basically just doing strides halfway through my easy run, just to also add a little bit of intensity.
Yeah.
And that's basically, how my week was and how I made it to 90 kilometers.
So, you know, the pickup, I'll be interested to know about them. So when do you literally just run those strides because strides are strides, or are you looking at your watch thinking, right, I need to just run 5K pace, or, you know, do you just literally just stride out every 3K or whatever it was? Or
I tend to look at my watch because I want to hit at least 5K pace or a little faster, because the pickups that he gives me is usually 5 times 30 seconds of 60 seconds recovery. And if I have an hour longer, and then I'm going to start doing that after 40 minutes. And I do those little pickups and then I go back to easy pace. But usually I like to hit at least 5K pace, if not faster.
Yeah.
Cool. And obviously the benefit of doing those at 40 minutes is so you've got that mileage in your legs already. So you're emulating what it's going to feel like on race day to put that effort in.
Exactly. Yes. When you've got a bit of fatigue in the legs already. Yeah.
Nice. So what's taper week going to look like? Do you know what your sessions and things for this week are going to be?
I've got my plan. So now that the long run is out of the way, basically we're starting taper. So tomorrow I just have an easy 5K. Sunday will be an easy 10K. And then next week, which will be race week, I will have 2 race days, Monday and Thursday. Tuesday, I've got my little usual race week session, which is warm up 2 times 5 minutes at half marathon race pace, and then 6 times 1 minute at 10K race pace, and then a cool down. Usually it's about 10, 11K session. Wednesday will just be an easy 8 to 10K. Friday will be another easy run, but shorter. Usually it's half an hour, maximum 40 minutes. And then Saturday, the final little shakeout before race day will just be 20 minutes and some strides. And that should be it. Oh, and also on race week, I like to have a sports massage. So Tuesday after my session, I have a sports massage.
Excellent. Yeah. To flush the legs out and get them ready.
Exactly. Yes.
It's amazing how many people who do have sports massages don't allow for the amount of time it takes to recover from the sports massage as well. So having it on Tuesday is a really good idea because you've got enough time to get over it. It does take it out of you, even though it's supposed to flush out the badness. Then you've got to recover from that as well.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
So will you look at things like a carb load as well for a half marathon, or do you feel like you've got, the training is all you need, or do you, how do you approach race day in terms of your food intake? Do you literally just eat anything that looks like bread for the 3 or 4 days like I do?
No, I wouldn't say that I'm very experienced in terms of carb loading. I don't think it's as important for a half marathon as it is for a marathon, because obviously we're really not talking about the same effort and the same distance. What I'm just trying to do on race week is that really I stick to the foods that I know agree with me. I don't really try to go eating out or be too adventurous with what I'm going to eat. I stick to my basics, my staples. And then starting the Thursday, I wouldn't say I eat more overall, but I'm going to reduce the fiber and increase the carbs. So overall, it's kind of like the same volume of food. So I don't feel too bloated or anything, but just less fiber, more carbs. So a bit more pasta, a bigger bowl of oats, a snack on rye bread, things like that. And I try to stay on top of hydration. So really, like electrolytes every day and all of this, especially when you're going to race in Valencia, where it should be fairly warm.
Yeah. So what's your favorite pre-race meal on the night before the race?
Oh, the night before the race, it's just pasta. Yeah, pasta, a bit of tomato sauce, bit of mushrooms, and I like to have a bit of Greek yogurt, and something like that. Yeah.
Nice. Are you a breakfast eater before a race, or do you not like to eat so soon before? Will you wake up at a really early time to eat your breakfast, or how will a race morning look typically?
Yes, I usually wake up about 3 hours before the race starts.
Yeah.
And I'd have my breakfast between 2.5 to 2 hours before. So for all of my races up until recently, I would have toast and butter. That would have been, my pre-race breakfast. Now, what I'm thinking of doing at Valencia, because it worked quite well when I was practicing that on my long run, is having a Sturker bar. I don't know if you know the Sturker brand. They do those really high carb bars.
Yes.
Yes, I think I know what the ones you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, one of those bars has 50 grams of carbs. It's really easy to eat. It worked really well when I was doing that on my long runs to practice. So I really think I'm going to do that on race day.
Yeah. And can you get hold of them, in Malaga, in Valencia?
Oh, I've brought plenty with me. I've brought like all the gels, all the bars, all the nutrition. We're two runners
separate
here,
suitcase.
Yes.
Well,
you have no idea. Two runners here in Spain for 3 weeks. We've got all the gels, all the shoes, all the sports nutrition, everything.
So I was going to ask you a question because obviously I'm doing Valencia next month in December. When you travel with your race kit, let's just say your shoes are super important to you, and you can't handle losing any luggage. Do you keep certain things in hand luggage so you won't lose it?
Always. The race shoes, the race kit. I put some gels in my toiletry bag as well, just in case. Yeah, all the essentials I want to have with me on the plane.
So do you know what the legal limit is? For example, the gels I use are like chews. They're called Vooms, and they're solid, so they're not liquid. Would I be able to get away with taking them in, with me?
I would have thought so.
Yeah.
Do you think I wonder if there'll be a limit on how many I can take? Because obviously I'll need to take.
You could probably fill a whole suitcase and just take it with you.
No, but I'm on about hand luggage. Will I be able to take any through the airport?
Yeah, you can take as much as you like.
Fine.
Okay, that's good. Because I'm slightly worried about just a little fear I've got is just getting off the airplane and just bag has gone to Brazil or something like that, and my shoes are in Switzerland. I don't know. So yeah, I need to. I think keeping your things on you is probably the most important thing.
Oh yeah.
That's actually a very good
first race in Spain.
Pardon, Chloe?
Is that going to be your first race in Spain?
Yeah, first ever race taking an airplane, because whenever I've raced in Europe before, we've driven there. Like we drove to France and then we drove up to Amsterdam. Because I'm a little bit of a control freak and I can control those controllables. Those things are in my car, but on a plane, I can't. There's only so many things you can control. So, no, this is my first big boy race.
Oh, exciting!
So the luggage question actually is a really good segue into my next question, which is what is race day kit? So what are your shoes of choice and what's your kit of choice? Because am I right in thinking that you're a Say Sky runner?
I am, yes. So for 2024, I'm part of the Say Sky athlete team, and we have a special athlete race kit that we can wear. So it's basically a crop top and race shorts with really handy pockets, so you can fit your gels, your keys, anything. And it's got the Say Sky logo on top. And my shoes, I pretty much always race with the On Cloud Boom Eco 3. That's just my go-to race shoes. I absolutely love them. Yeah.
How have you found those with durability? Because a few people that I've seen who have said about the On stuff said it's amazing to run in. It's really, really responsive, but the durability isn't as good as other brands, so it doesn't hold up to as much running as other brands do.
Yeah, I had seen some videos of people showing the state of the soles after just a few runs, and personally I've not experienced this. Maybe it's just the way I run, because if you're going to go like this with your feet, it tended to be like the outside part of the sole that would get quite damaged fairly quickly. I still have my very first pair of On Cloud Boom Eco 3s, and I've done a lot of races in them, and now I've recycled them to session shoes, and they're still going absolutely fine. I got a fresh pair recently for more recent races, but I still have my very old pair and they're still going fine. So personally, I've not had any issues with durability so far.
Are they called the Cloud Boom Echo?
Yeah, Cloud Boom Echo 3. That's the latest one. Yeah.
And what are they in the region of about 150 quid, something like that?
Or a bit more. They're 220.
Oh,
yeah, they're the equivalent, the on-equivalent of the Adios Pro 3 or the Vaporfly or the.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So they're the carbon-plated race shoe.
Yeah.
Have you had the 1s, the 2s, and now the 3s?
No, I literally started with the 3s when they launched them. I think it was last year. Yeah, a year and a half. Yeah.
Cool. Are you tempted by the Strike, the Cloud Boom Strike that has?
Yes, I am very tempted. I just didn't want to get them because I wouldn't want to like wear them on race day, like nothing new on race day. But yeah, I think eventually, I'll get those. Yeah.
Yeah. So what sort of mileage would you take a shoe up to?
Honestly, for as long as the shoe is going, as long as the sole still looks fine, I'm just gonna keep using the shoe. I don't really have a limit. It's not like I'm gonna hit 100 miles and I'm gonna stop using the shoe. It's just if I start feeling maybe like a bit of soreness, I'm gonna look at the shoe, see if the sole still looks fine. And usually when I have a sore hip, it comes from the shoe. So that's when I know that it's time to just retire it.
Yeah. So it's more based on feel than a number of miles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And how often do you train in your carbons? Do you ever train in carbons, or do you wear them like you say when you do the faster stuff or the longer stuff? Or
I used to do all my sessions in carbon plates, and now I've really calmed down because I don't think it's the best thing to do. So what I do is I have a pair of Saucony Endorphin Speed 3, I think, they have a nylon plate. Yeah, they're really good. And it's not a carbon plate, it's a nylon plate. So that's now what I use for my sessions on a weekly basis. And then I keep the carbon for races. And sometimes I get my carbon shoes for my last session before a race. So that's what I need to do.
I think you could race in them. I think I've never tried the 4s, but I've had the 2s and the 3s. I think are better than the 2s, which is controversial.
The 3s are brilliant.
The Endorphin Speed 3s are so good.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the speed or the pros? You're talking about the speed 3s.
The speed, yeah.
I think you could race in them. I think they're depending on the distance. I probably would say, I don't know if a marathon would give you what you need towards the end of the race, but I think something, or maybe a 5 or a 10K race. Definitely, I think they're that good.
I don't know if they'd be like really springy for a 5K, but a 10K or even a half marathon, yes, I wouldn't mind racing in those. Yeah,
because I find them really comfortable as well. So,
they are.
Yeah.
So what is your shoe rotation? So you've got the Endorphin Speed 3s and the Cloud Boom Echo 3s for race day. What other shoes do you use?
I think I'm just really converted to On because my easy shoes are the On Cloud Eclipse. These are the ones that I really like to wear. And then before that, I wore my Saucony Ride 17 until they were just done. Like I really like these shoes as well. Yeah.
Wow. So would you say Saucony and On are the two brands that you normally go towards, or have you tried any others?
Well, when I started running, I was really just into Nike. Like I would wear the Tempo Next Percent, I got the Alpha Fly, the Pegasus were my easy shoes. And then I got a pair of On. It was the Cloud Monster. Really enjoyed them. So I kind of like started to, gravitate towards On. And then I was very kindly gifted some Saucony shoes last year. So that's how I kind of like discovered the brand. And then I bought some pairs myself. And now every time I need a new pair of shoes, it's going to be Saucony or On, basically.
It's good to find a brand that you really like, isn't it? Because you know what to expect.
Yeah, and then you know your size, so you can order online. There won't be any bad surprise.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The other question I was going to ask is about when you were in Copenhagen. You were going to have a really nice rest day the day before the race, but you got a call from SaySky to go and see their main office. What was that like? Yes, that
is true. Oh, that was amazing. That was really great to see the offices, get a sneak peek of the new collections, what's coming out. collaborations that they have with other brands. It's all really exciting. They're growing really fast, and yeah, it's really good to be part of this team.
Cool. Do they seem like really nice guys, the people that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's still a fairly
yeah.
small team. It was really great to meet them in person. Like I went to a shakeout run that they organized on the Friday. I met the CEO. Like, it's still very like small team basically. Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Wicked. So does it feel like they're a bunch of runners who make running clothes for runners? Is that?
Yes,
like,
it really started with the passion from the CEO, and then everyone is in the team is just really, really into running. Because they do marathons, they do all sorts. Yeah.
It's all around the world now, isn't it? Say Sky. It's got a really and we have a regular listener called Mark Hurdy-Gurdy, who always comments and says the Say Sky half tights, the men's half tights, are some of the best race short options he's ever had, and would recommend them wholeheartedly because of the same thing you said, just about the storage options.
Yeah, you've got the pockets, and it's really lightweight fabric. Yeah, great.
Do you ever race in a belt or anything, or do you not need to?
No, I don't think I would enjoy that. I just want to feel as free as possible. So as long as I have my pockets to keep the things I need, then I don't want anything else.
Yeah, and I guess when it's literally in those pockets, it's not bouncing around anywhere. And
exactly.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I was going to ask you one last question, which is, if you had to choose your favorite session to do, let's just say, I mean, you it could be training for a 5K or a 10K or a half marathon. What would be one of your favorite go-to sessions that you enjoy doing the most?
I would say it's the kilometer reps. I think you can do this session for whatever you're training for. It can be a 5K session, a 10K session, a half marathon. I love a good 8x1K.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just usually what Ben gives me is 8x1K, and I've got 5 reps at around half marathon race pace, and I've got 3 reps at around 10K race pace.
So what will you do on the what will you do in the offs? Will they just be like a 3-minute recovery or something, or will they be a
90 seconds easy jog?
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So 8x1K would be your preference.
Yeah, that's my favorite session.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, I don't think I've got too many other questions. I'm just going to look at my list of pre-written down questions, but I think we've pretty much got through everything I wanted to ask you.
I did have one more because I'm quite interested about it. I was booked up for the August Mid Cheshire 5K, but I had to postpone because they changed the date, didn't they, of the August one?
Yeah.
So I've postponed until, is it May? The next one?
Yeah, that's May, the next one. Yeah.
So I'm going to be running it in May, and I know you've run it a few times now.
Yes, I did.
So I was just wondering what you think of the race and what the course is like and things like that.
Right. So I run it twice. The first time I just didn't enjoy it. I thought that they advertised it as like, fast and flat. To me, it's not really flat, really. There's like, yes, there is a downhill, but there's also like quite a bit of elevation. And then the second time, I don't know, I enjoyed it more for some reason. It didn't feel as hard to go over those little climbs. But I think what makes this race really fast is that they attract a really, really solid field, so you can stay in a pack for longer. So obviously, if you run with people around, you're gonna, you have a better chance of a faster time, obviously. So that's really what makes this race special, is the quality of the field. It's greatly organized. Hopefully you'll have nice weather.
Fingers crossed.
It's a downhill final K, so save a bit of energy for the final kilometer, because you can do a proper sprint finish.
Amazing. Because as you say, they do advertise it as fast and flat, and I did see in one of your videos you said in the middle there is a little bit of a climb, which they don't really say about.
The third kilometer, you really feel it. Well, it's those countryside lanes. It's not going to be flat all the way, so at some point it's going to climb a little bit.
I'm looking forward to it, but it's nice to have a bit of inside knowledge to know what's coming first.
That would be great.
So what have you got coming up then? Apart, I know obviously you've got. Quickly. So how did Malaga go last week then?
Oh, yeah, it went well. So I ran 38:57. So
Awesome.
I was hoping for sub 39 ideally. So yeah, I'm glad I just like scraped under. Obviously, the torrential rain didn't help.
Yeah.
And and also it was my fault. I didn't do a course recce. I should have just gone on the course to see what it was like, because here in Malaga, I run by the beach and it's pan flat. And this race wasn't by the beach and it wasn't pan flat. And I didn't expect this many inclines. So that was a bit of a challenge, but yeah, that was a good effort. That was great.
Yeah, cool. And what have you got? Have you got anything coming up beyond Valencia, or will that be, just get Valencia half done and then see what 2025 holds, or have you got any races booked?
So I've got I take any opportunity to go to Spain. So I will be going to Madrid mid-November just for a 10K, nothing crazy. I don't really have any goal for this one. I just want a fun race after Valencia half. And that should be my last one for the year. And then, just start training for the first races of 2025. And I will be going back to Valencia in January for the Valencia 10K.
Yeah, fantastic.
Any opportunity to go to Spain, I take it.
Yeah, amazing.
There's no point coming back to the UK. You might as well just stay in Spain.
I was going to say, I know you said you're not a winter runner at all, but I was going to ask if now you're a club runner, whether you were going to take part in the cross country. But I think you've just answered it. You're going to go and find all the sun elsewhere rather than running through the mud.
Yes, no, like the cross country, it's not for me.
I'm getting the impression Chloe prefers palm trees and Spanish sunrises to mud around Arra Valley Country Park.
Yeah.
But we wish you the very, very best of luck for the Valencia half, which is at the time of recording this a week on Sunday. What date is that?
Exactly. Yeah, so that's the 27th of October.
Cool. And how can people find you if for some strange reason, if people haven't seen your YouTube channel, for example, or your Instagram, how can they find you?
So it's just my name, Chloe Hamard, over on YouTube and Instagram and Strava as well. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you for the chat. That was great.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. We will put links to Chloe's YouTube channel and her socials in the description of this video. So go in, check out her channel and subscribe.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, go well in Valencia. Buena suerte.
Muchas gracias.
I was trying to think if I'd say you're welcome, but I think I'm done. De nada. And I think you'll have a great race. And thank you for coming on.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully.
Talking to us tonight. So nice one.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.
Right, so thanks to Chloe for joining us on the pod. That was wicked. That was a really good chat. But now we should possibly go into our usual chatting rubbish, really, that me and you do, and waffle on for another hour.
I think we could quite easily. This could be a 3-hour podcast now, because I keep forgetting about the hour we've already done.
Yeah.
But no, that was really good. That was great to chat to Chloe. She's full of wisdom. She's a very, very good runner. And I hope she has a really good run out in Valencia next week.
Yeah, definitely.
But I've got a topic that we might have briefly touched on.
Okay.
In previous podcasts. And I mentioned this to you the other day, but I'm a bit worried that my easy pace is too easy at the moment, because I think in this 16-week training block, I'm in week 10 now, I can't believe how much fitter I am now than I was 10 weeks ago. So I'm doing, for example, an easy run, and I'm running it at like marathon pace. I'm thinking, what are you doing, you idiot? Why are you running so fast? Or maybe not marathon pace, but like steady. And it doesn't feel too fast. It feels manageable. And sometimes, like the other day, for example, this time last week, I worked down on the south coast. And on the way home, I went for a little forest run, did a 10K or something like that around the forest, and loaded up the map on my watch because I created a map of the route I wanted to do so I didn't get lost. And as a result, wasn't checking the data fields like pace, distance, all that sort of stuff. I was just enjoying running around a forest. And I think because I was feeling so good and I was a bit like a coiled spring because I'd had about 6 or 8 hours working on, traveling. So I just went for this run and I looked at the splits afterwards, and some of them were not far off marathon pace because I was enjoying life that much. And I think I was going a bit fast, but I also looked at my heart rate data, and I know I should take it with a pinch of salt. It's only wrist based, but it's consistently, well, I wouldn't say it's consistently inconsistent, but it's the same readings all the time, basically, whether that's right or wrong to start with. But it was telling me that I was running in that sort of zone 2 kind of thing. And I was running like almost 8-minute miles. And I was like, wow, okay. But I know I'd only run 8K and it's not 18 or 28 or 38K.
Yeah.
But my question or my topic I wanted to chat to was, should you readjust your paces halfway through a training block?
I don't know about halfway through a training block, but your easy pace that you think of as easy pace, how does that compare to your easy pace when you were training for Newport?
It's the same, pretty much. It's maybe it's about 5 or 10 seconds faster now. Because basically, I've been trying to aim for 6 minutes, which is like a 30-minute 5K. Yeah. But now I'm looking at my watch and I'm running easy, or what's feeling easy, and it's saying 5:45, which is closer to that 2-hour half marathon time. So so it's just slightly quicker now.
So basically, what I'm asking is, for Newport, your target was completely different to what your target is for Valencia. Yeah. So if your target marathon pace is quicker, then your steady pace should be quicker and your easy pace should be quicker, because if you're aiming for a faster race pace, then all of your other paces should hopefully be a little bit quicker. You shouldn't be sticking with the same slower paces if you are wanting to improve race pace, if you get what I mean.
So I shouldn't be running this easy pace in 5 years if I still keep improving.
Exactly. Your easy pace from last year wouldn't be your easy pace now, would it?
No. But I'm slightly concerned. I mean, obviously, I don't think there's any damage you can do. But I'm just worried that I might not be getting optimum results from each. Because I'm at a point now where I'm thinking I'm not actually that far from the end now. So I want to try and make sure that every run I do has got a benefit, whether that is an easy zone 2 or a session. I don't want to waste any miles.
You've also got to think about, is it easy or is it recovery? Because recovery pace and easy pace are slightly different as well. Recovery pace is all about sticking to that really easy pace. So everything is proper easy and you are actually recovering from all the effort you've put in during the week. But an easy run is all about feel. It's all about, does it feel easy? If it feels easy, then it must be easy.
Yeah.
They're two completely different things.
Because you can feel different on a different day. So easy running can feel different from one day to the next, I guess. So easy pace I'd say it's probably a bit of a myth, because unless you're running on a track or something like we were saying with Chloe that's controlled, and you can control those controllables, then it's flat for the whole session, then fine. But it's very rarely flat, is it, on your routes that you run around your local running routes. So I mean, I'm not concerned. It's just like I'm thinking, am I spending too long in zone 2 when I should be, pushing in the low in the low regions of zone 2, because when I'm running sort of easy, especially in those early kilometers, my heart rate's in the like early 120s, mid 120s, which is a really nice feeling. You feel really fit. And especially when you don't even feel out of breath or you're not even sweating yet.
But is that a bit too easy?
That's what I'm thinking.
That's recovery sort of heart rate pace. You want to be in. You want to be in zone 2 whilst you're jogging, whilst you're going out for a nice easy jog. You don't want to be recovery pace for every single one of them. And getting to the point where steady feels a bit easier as well is a good thing, because that whole steady area between your easy pace and your marathon pace, that steady pace is a way that you can feel uncomfortably comfortable over a long period of time. So the more you can build on that steady pace is a good thing, especially marathon training.
I like that as well, because last week or the week before? I think it was last Sunday. I went for my long run, and I tried to hit a steady pace, which I keep calling Newport pace, which is 8 minutes a mile, which is slower than what I want Valencia pace to be. But I thought, let's not run Valencia target pace. Let's run last year's marathon pace. And I'm so glad I did, because every time I tried to hit pace, I had some horrific hills to deal with. And I was getting quite close to it, and I'm glad I didn't push myself to that marathon pace, because that would have been even harder at the time. And I'm glad in a way that steady feels easier, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to do it. So I'm quite thankful that it's all. I don't want to speak too soon, but I'm glad that it's all the numbers are moving north, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So what is target pace for Valencia? What is target marathon pace?
For me, it's 4:45, or in miles, it's about 7:35. Does that sound about right?
Okay, cool. So your steady pace should probably be somewhere. Hang on, 7:30. So yes, say 7:30. Your easy pace should probably be about 8:10, 8:15 a mile.
My easy pace or steady?
Sorry, steady pace. Steady pace should be around there. So your easy pace should probably be around 8:30, 8:45 a mile. So
that's a bit faster than I've been running easy, because I've been running easy at the moment around about 5:40 to 5:45, which is that 2-hour half marathon pace, which is 9:09s, which feels good. It feels easy, but I don't like the idea sometimes of failing on an easy run, because it feels too hard. So that's probably why I protect myself a little bit and run a bit slower than I need to.
I'd say 9-minute miles is a bit too slow for you now, going for a 3:20 marathon.
Really?
For an easy pace. I'd say that's more your recovery pace.
Okay. So are you saying that it probably might be a good idea to readjust my numbers then in the last 6 weeks, looking at Valencia, or at least looking towards the peak?
Not readjust all of your numbers, but maybe just
easy, and
your easy pace should probably be way below 9-minute miles. I'd say, if you're running 8:50s, 8:45s, that should be a decent easy pace for you.
That's about right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Noted. But I went for a run today. I'm sure we'll talk about our training week soon, but I went for a run today and I did a threshold, and I was going to put a float in, but I thought, no, I'll take it back to easy. And once you've been running fast and then you pull it back to easy, it feels like you're walking, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It feels like, now I understand why people put float paces in rather than taking it all back to easy, because running fast and then running easy maybe wasn't the best way to do today's session. But because I ran quite quick, I thought, no, I need some recovery here. So that's why I did it. But received and understood. I might start, picking up the pace slightly when it comes to my easy stuff for the next few weeks, because I'm going to be peaking before I know it. Because I'm in week 10 currently, and by the end of week 14, I will have run my peak. So next week onwards, I'll be doing a 4-week sort of build, or 3. I think it's 3. No, it'll be 4 weeks of build.
Yeah.
Weeks 11, 12, 13, and 14.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. And so exciting. But
yeah. So with that in mind, let's go through your training week. What you've been doing this week?
So starting from then, where we last chatted, did I tell you that I was going down south and I couldn't decide whether to run on the beach or run on the forest? I can't remember if we had that conversation or not last week.
Yeah.
Well, I decided to, on the way home, we drove past the New Forest. And I don't know if you've ever been to the New Forest or not, but it's just beautiful. It's just such a nice place. And Saturday afternoon, I worked in Bournemouth last week, and trying to get to the beach Saturday afternoon, 2:00, I thought, terrible idea. Let's avoid that like the plague.
Yeah.
So drove, on the motorway the way home, and then made a quick diversion into the New Forest. And I went for a local route, and I went on something called plotterroute.com or plotterroute.co.uk.
Yeah.
And you can you type in a place, and then it will bring you up all the routes that people have uploaded to the site. And it was it was really, really good, because I found this 5-mile route, this 8.5k route, and it was awesome. I just ran around the New Forest, like literally, look at this. I don't know if you see that. 2 little baby donkeys.
Oh, what? Amazing.
So within like 2 minutes of starting, and they all came over to me as well, literally stroking these donkeys. It was amazing. I was like, "This, you don't get this round Worcester. This is brilliant." So then got round, and then, like I said, looked at my splits when I got back. I thought, that felt a bit nippy, that did. Looked at my splits. Bear in mind, back then I was thinking, right, let's keep it easy. 5:45s is what we want. Splits. First one, 5:56. Second one, 5:15. 5:10, 5:23, 4:58, 4:53, 4:49. 5 minutes. So I just got really carried away. And you know what? I felt really good. And until that 6th or 7th K, I was under 150 beats a minute. So it didn't feel too much of an effort. And considering I didn't do parkrun and stuff that early that day, that was a little bit. It was a little bit like doing a mile or two of effort. So that was quite nice. And then Sunday, I did my first 30k of the block, and I was after 88k last week, and I'd done the maths, and to get to 88, I needed to do 29, and then I got to 29k on the day and thought, I won't be able to sleep tonight. I need to do 30k, so I did an extra k. So I did a little loop, local loop. And what I did, like we were sort of chatting last week, and you said, why don't you do like 1k off, 1k on, that sort of thing. So I did something similar. I did 10k easy. And then I did 4 lots of this. I did 2k at 5 minutes a k or 8 minutes a mile. And then 1k float steady times 4. So I did 12k of effort in the middle.
So the 1k float, what pace was that?
That was 5:30 or between 5:25 and 5:30. So yeah, it's south of 9 minutes. It's probably about 8:45s, something like that.
Okay. So that it was more going back to easy pace rather than a float pace.
Well, yeah, it wasn't but that was quicker than the easy I was running.
Yeah. Okay.
Because then I went down to a slightly slower pace for the last 8k.
Yeah.
And what I went out at, so I just called it a float because it was in between the effort and the easy. And I'm glad I didn't do anything any quicker, because the route I chose was ridiculous, nearly 400 meters of elevation, some serious hills, and I busted my own ass to get at the top of those hills. But on the effort reps, I was really pleased. I don't know if you can see the screen, but those middle reps they're a little bit erratic. I tried to do effort reps, but some of the hills honestly were just so tough.
Yeah, but those effort Ks, yes, they weren't at the pace you wanted, but they were at the effort that you wanted. So
Yeah.
that's what counts. It does when you're on a hilly course, it's not necessarily all about pace. It's all about the effort that you're putting in.
Yeah.
So don't worry too much about the paces.
And then on Monday, this is when I texted you and said something feels strange here, because I got out of bed and did a 10K recovery. And looking at this, it was the same as those float paces yesterday. It was 5:25, 5:30 average. So I was, after a 30K, I was able to get up and do a fairly, not easy 10K, if you know what I mean. I just got carried away. Not carried away, but I was feeling better than running really, really easy, or that recovery pace.
Yeah.
I felt like I had a bit more. So I started off, nice and slow, 550, 545s. But then I was doing 518s, 514s, and then 515s, 513s, and a 530. So I don't know. Sometimes you just go with it, don't you? And I did say on this run, I'm a bit disappointed in myself for my lack of discipline, because I probably should have kept that one easy or recovery pace, but I just fancied it. Because I'm in a deload week, which is, I only want 60K this week, which is about 40 mile in it, 35 mile, which is about a 66% reduction really, or a 75% reduction. No, sorry, a 25% reduction, or a third of what I ran last week. I did no hill run up the hills on Wednesday. So sorry to anyone that's looking forward to my vlog, where I run like a mental case with Daisy, which she's just dragging me around the hills. So I had a morning off, and then Wednesday night went over to track with a black pair lot and had a really good session, like one of the best sessions I've had with them. It was just went really well. I really genuinely enjoyed it. And the session was 600s, and it was 600s times 3 with 200-meter recoveries, and then an easy 400. And I did the first set. I mean, he basically said, this is what I'd like you to do it at. And he was sort of leaning towards zone 4, 10K pace. But what I did was, I did the first set at 10K pace, second set, slightly quicker, 5K pace. Then the third set of 600s, I did a incrementally increasing 4 350 and then a 340, which is way faster than I normally run. And I was running with Rich and Mac, and on that last one, we all sort of said, let's do it together. And then that's my set.
Nice.
So I managed to do it. That last that final rep, the final 200, or the final set, was 600. Was bear with me. It was a 220. So that's a 349. Sorry. Let me go backwards. Okay, so I'll just cheat. The last one was a 332 pace. I wanted 340. That's a 210 for the 600. The one before it was a 350, 218. And the first one was a 224. So that session went really, really well. And then no running yesterday, Thursday off. Friday, that was today's run. And I decided to do a threshold run today. So today I did, it's not sounding like a deload week at all, is it?
No.
But again, I just don't really want to I don't want to reduce the volume and run easy.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You're reducing the volume, so you are deloading.
Yeah. But today what I decided to do was a 10K run around the local lanes. I've got a nice little 10K route that I like doing, which is about 120 meters of gain. It's about, 400 foot, 350 foot. So it's obviously, you'll feel it. And I did a K to start off easy, and then it was 2K at threshold, so about 10K pace. And I was so stubborn, and I hit everything.
Did you say threshold 10K pace? What's your 10K PB?
Well, see, this is the thing, because my PB is so beatable. My 10K PB is 44:20.
Yeah,
and I did that. I ran that in my half marathon last week.
Yeah. Remember though, threshold pace is what you can hold for an hour.
Yeah.
so it shouldn't quite be as fast as your 10k pace. 10k pace is faster than threshold.
Well, I ran average of 4:25s for an hour and 33 last week at Cardiff. So I thought I'm going to aim for 4:15 to 4:20s.
Yeah, cool.
I want to pitch my 10k PB pace at around about 4:12, 4:15. So around that. But guess what I did? I went out too fast. And with the hills, it ended up being like a 5k effort. And again, holding my phone up to the screen. So sorry to all those listening. It just one of those runs that just went really, really well. So my first efforts were 4:22, 4:13. Second was 4:09, 4:14. And then the third set was 4:12 and 4:12. And do you know what I'm thinking? I can't wait to have a go at another 5k now. Like I can't do the next 2 Saturdays, which is like, oh, I'm so gutted about that, because all I want to do is go and do a hard parkrun. So maybe in 3 weeks' time, I'm going to hit a hard Saturday morning, because I think I'm feeling like I'm ready, because I managed to do 6k way faster than 10k pace, and it went really well. So yeah, that's been my week.
Nice.
And I've got I'm going to do another big one on Sunday, another 30k on Sunday.
Excellent. It's looking promising. With 4 weeks of build left to go, it's looking really good.
Yeah, I'm feeling good, which is the main thing, and I'm feeling slightly more confident. I think that half marathon, or those 2 half marathons I've run in the last month, Worcester and then Cardiff, have done me the world of good. Like knowing that Worcester wasn't an anomaly, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
and backing it up by doing another similarly paced run in Cardiff. I just feel like feel really good. Everything seems to be going in the right direction. So yeah, feeling good.
Yeah, I watched your Cardiff video, and yeah, it looks like a great race. Looks like a great atmosphere to run in.
It was wicked, and like when I came around that one bend at like 10 miles. There was this, there was like a drag act on. There was like this rainbow roundabout, I think they called it. And there was someone on stage, and it was Tina Turner, and it was rolling. And the cadence, the tempo of everyone was like literally going for it. And I was like, Chloe said, when she picked up the pace in Copenhagen, same thing happened to me. And I just went with it, and that's how I think that was the moment I kind of thought, okay, it could be a really good day here. So
because at that point in your video, there's the girl that's in front of you, and she's doing exactly that to the beat of the music as you're running around that corner. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was a party atmosphere, and I think it was just a wicked race. So Cardiff is a really good one. But no, you've had similar. You've had a little bit of a slightly different week, haven't you? Like I know.
Yeah. It's been all right. I've got back into running, so this week I've actually run, but I just feel completely nowhere near where I was before the dreaded COVID knocked me about. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's affected my my chest and my lungs at all, but after every run I'm absolutely coughing my guts up, and like I'm having a coughing fit at the end of every run, or every bit of effort. And it's not great. And from coughing during the week of being ill, I've pulled all my lower abs and my groin and everything, so that hasn't helped. So as I'm running, if I need to cough, I'm coughing, but it's like really hurting in my groin. So I'm like weirdly having to change my stride so it doesn't hurt so much as I'm coughing. But I'm getting through it, and it's getting better. So that's all that matters, really. So I went for my first run after being ill on Saturday, and I got all my kit on, got my shoes on, got out the house, and I was like, I'm so excited to go for a run. I cannot wait to go for this run. I've had 9 days of no running. This is going to be brilliant. So I got out my door, ran up the road, and I was like, this feels incredible. Just I've had a week of rest from being ill. I feel brilliant. And that lasted for all of probably 200 meters. And then 200 meters at the top of the road, I just went, oh my God, I feel horrendous.
Really?
And yeah, the next, I ran 10K, and the next 9,800 meters felt like absolute crap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just every step was horrible. Just every part of your leg that could feel tight.
Yeah.
Felt tight. My calves like were really, really tight. My hip was horrendous. Because I said last week that my glute felt really good because I hadn't been doing any exercise. Yeah, no, it just felt crap as soon as I started. But never mind. I suppose that's what happens from either lying down or sitting for a whole week and not actually moving or doing any exercise, and then going out for a run straight away. You're not going to feel great. So yeah, so that first 200 meters, I was like, yes, this is going to feel amazing. And then I just went, oh no, this is terrible. But I probably went a bit too fast, really, for this 10K, because I should have gone out and done a really nice and easy run to get back into it. But I ran like steady-ish pace. So I ran like an average of 7:33 a mile for the 10K. But yeah, I got back, and for the rest of the night and the next morning, I felt like I'd run a marathon. It proper like really did my legs in. I couldn't believe how much I ached from only running 10K. But never mind. So when you feel like that, after running 10K on the Saturday, what's the best thing to do on the Sunday?
Rest and recover, straight back in bed, feet up in front of the TV. Don't go for a long run.
Yeah, that is the correct answer. So what do you think I did?
Did you go for a long run?
I did, yeah. I went and ran 10 miles.
Brilliant.
And yeah, so I ran 10 mile, just all easy. So I averaged 7:57 a mile. But at 6.5 mile, I stopped, and I was down at the lake, and I stopped to give my calves and my hamstrings a bit of a stretch because they were tight. And I thought, I should stop now. I should call it here. But I'm far too stubborn. And I was like, no, it's Sunday. It's a long run day. So I'm going to do at least 10 mile. So I carried on and did 10 mile. And yeah, I got home and I was like, was that a good idea, pushing myself that much? But yeah, I did it. So there we go. And then on Monday, I didn't do my usual. I actually was a bit more sensible. And instead of running up to my shop to do some work and running home, I drove up to my shop to do some work. And then when I got home in the evening, at just gone 9 o'clock in the evening, I thought I'll go for a little steady, like easy run and see how it feels. And on my Strava, I called this run Minter Runderland. And we're nowhere near winter, but the reason I called it that is I ran through town during this 10K, and there was a guy walking through the middle of town holding a pint of Ben and Jerry's Minter Wonderland and a spoon and just eating it whilst walking through town. And I've never been more jealous of someone. I was running past him. I looked at him, and he must have known exactly what I was thinking, because he just looked at me and smirked. That he was eating a pint of ice cream as he was walking through town. So yeah, what a legend. Yeah. And then on Tuesday, I felt a little bit better. So in the evening, I thought I'll go down to B&R session, but I won't do the session. I'll just run through steady whilst everyone is running. And so I did in total for that run, I did 9.5 mile, and I ran 2 miles down to the session. We did 1 3/4 as a warm up, and then they were doing Cedar Road Loop efforts, which is I think it's a kilometre loop, or something like that. I'm not entirely sure exactly how far, but or it might be 2K loop. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, because I don't know in Ks. But they were doing opposite ways, and the one way it's a long hill, so a long gradual hill, and then a really short downhill. And then they turn around after their recovery and do it the opposite way, so it's a really short uphill and then a long downhill. But I decided to just run through, going the long gradual hill way round, and I ended up doing 7 loops of that, which ended up being about 5.5 mile. So what's that in K?
5.5 mile, 9K, 8.5, 9K,
Okay,
isn't it?
cool. So 7 loops. So it's probably what 1.25K loop. But did that and then did the warm down. But I actually managed to do it, like I was going to run steady, and I actually ended up doing it quite progressive. So the first mile, when I started my efforts, I did in 7:24, and then I did 7:18, 7:10, 7:02, and then 6:51. So I got going. So all like started at steady pace and then got up to like almost at tempo pace. So yeah, it was decent, but as I say, I finished doing the effort, doing my steady run, and I coughed my guts up again. But there we go. And then I did some cross trainer to loosen up afterwards in the gym, and then run home. And on the run home, my left hamstring decided to say hello and was really tight. So I had a rest day on Wednesday, which was good. And then yesterday, I went down to session again, and I felt a bit better. So I thought, right, I'm going to try and put in a little bit of effort in this. Not full effort, but I'm going to try and put in maybe a threshold sort of effort. So we went down to the bus route, and it was mile efforts. So we did a mile out, 3 minutes recovery, mile back, 3 minutes recovery, mile out, 3 minutes, mile back. So 4 mile effort in total. And I thought, I'm going to do it at threshold pace. And I set off at I thought, I'm not going to look at my watch. I'm just going to run to threshold effort. So about half marathon pace. And I ended up running the first mile, what was it, in 6:03 a mile. So that is about half marathon pace. So about threshold. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Did my 3 minutes recovery, did the next mile back, and it was at 6:07 pace, but it just felt harder on the way back. And I was like, this is just going to get slowly harder and harder. And then I went to set off for my third rep and did my 3 minutes recovery, got to the point where we started off, got about 200, 300 meters down the road, looked at my watch and realized I pressed pause and not lap on my watch. So stop.
It's the COVID. It's the COVID.
Yeah. Shouted at myself and then jogged back to the start and then set off and started my rep again.
Fair play.
And then I ended up running that one in a 5:53, but that was a decent effort. And then the last one on the way back, I ran a 5:50 mile, but that was like quite a hard effort. And towards the end of the mile, I was really feeling it. So
how long was each rep? A mile?
A mile, yeah.
A mile.
So yeah, it's just annoying because I know I would have been able to do that session so much easier before getting ill. And now it's proper effort to run at those paces. So, I mean, the paces are still there, so that's not a bad thing, but it's just how much effort I'm having to put in to get that pace. So I think it's Redditch Kingfisher 10K next Sunday. And I'm not going to be in 10K race shape. So I need to decide what to do for that race. I'm definitely running it because I would not miss a hometown race. And everybody who is local to Redditch should be signing up and coming and running down at Redditch and coming
Yeah.
run Redditch Kingfisher 10K. I think,
Including me.
Yes, you have just signed up, haven't you?
I signed up about half an hour ago, about 10 minutes before the podcast. Yeah, because I realised I hadn't entered it yet.
Amazing.
And really, especially after today's threshold or whatever you want to call it, basically interval workout. I really fancy doing a 10K, and I think
nice.
It's time.
Yeah.
It is time.
Unfortunately, they have had to move the course this year. So the last 2 years, it started in the town centre and it's finished in the town centre. So the start and finish line's been in the same place. And it's been a big loop that goes out round the bus route and through Arrow Valley Lake and then back up into town. And then that was last year's, and the year before went the opposite way. But unfortunately, this year, they haven't quite had the same amount of entries as they've had for the last couple of years. So they haven't been able to acquire the road closures.
Yeah.
So it's moved down to the lake, round Arrow Valley Lake for the course. But it should still be a really good run. Hopefully, a few more people will enter and there'll be a good atmosphere down there. Raceways always put on a good race. So, I'm looking forward to it. But it will be a different feel to the last couple of years.
Yeah. I hope that as long as the paths, well, I know what Arrow Valley's like because we do park run there all the time, but as long as the paths are wide enough at the start to hit some tarmac, because I don't fancy, hopefully none of it starts on the grass at this time of year. Will there be a grassy start or?
No, I think it's all path. So I don't think there's any bits that go off road, but I will have to check the course just to make sure. But I'm pretty sure it's all on path.
Frustratingly, there's another local 10K by an events company called Tempo Events who had something called the Stratford's Big 10K, I think it was called, and half or something like that. And that was supposed to be about 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, and they've rescheduled it for the day of the Kingfisher 10K, which is a shame. So some people might have even been signed up to both or wanted to do both, but now they've got to choose one. And next year they've already announced the same date as the Worcester City Half as well.
Oh, what?
So that clashes as well. So
oh, man. Yeah, that's not good. But Stratford was underwater, wasn't it, a few weeks ago? So their course couldn't have taken place.
Yeah. And if I was a betting man, on this evidence, with the forecast that's coming as well, it might not even be on again because it's so putting on. Well, let's face it, it's not really winter, but putting on winter races or races this time of year anywhere near a river, it's the odds are not really in your favour because all we need is a bit of rain and everything just gets sodden, doesn't it? So as we're finding out in Worcester, so. So I'm hoping to race. I did so on my threshold run today. Let's just call it a threshold. Let's just pretend it was a threshold. On paper, it was a threshold. My effort was more like, I was running 3K pace, but I ran the run today in 48.5 minutes, and I calculated that I did 4K out of 6. Easy. And that was almost a minute and a half slower. So add those minute and a half, so that's like 6 minutes. So that take off 6 minutes. If I can just replace those Ks with Ks that are, on pace. I could maybe come in at 42.5 minutes, which I think is slightly more representative. Well, it's a lot more representative as where my 10K pace should be.
So what pace is that in miles?
Well, it's
42.
It's about 650s. I think it's about a sub-3 marathon pace. I think it's for me. It's about 4:16 a k. So I think that's the same as a sub-3 marathon pace.
Yeah. So 6:51.
Something like that. Which is a lot faster than I've ever run a 10K.
Okay.
But I think it's only 10 seconds quicker than my half marathon pace. So it's scary, but I think I can do it, and that's what I'm going to try and do.
So would you at Redditch would you, Mr. Greyhound, like a rabbit chase?
Oh, are you offering your services?
Quite possibly, yeah.
Well, you never fail, do you? You always get me over the line.
Yeah.
Why don't up the stakes and try and go for a 42?
Okay. So
Because
run. Hang on. Let me see what that is in pace wise.
Because my 5K paces with you was 20:04. So you'd think that I could do a 10K in 41. So if we went for 42, that would be a tough day at the office for me.
Yeah.
Because it's not far off a double of the Bushy Park effort. But I think that would be closer to where I should be for my 10K pace. Because my current 10K PB is 44:20 from Bourton.
Okay. So a 41:57 would be 6:45s.
6:45s. I don't know.
Which in kilometers, what did I just say? A 40.
Be about Chloe's half marathon pace, wouldn't it? So about 4:08.
A 42 dead on is 4:12s.
4:12s. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see if we can do it. Let's go 41:59, 41:57.
Yes.
I would love my 10K pace to start with a 41. I mean, I'd really like it to start with a 39, but I shouldn't really get you should probably get the sub.
I was going to say, get a 20-minute 5K first, mate.
Yeah. But okay, let's do that. Let's do that week on Sunday. It's on.
Excellent.
Sub 42. We can try. And you'll like this. I bought off ASOS last night. Because Max, friend of the podcast, Max, sent us a link. Says, by the way, there's 20% off everything on ASOS at the moment. I bought a new pair of shoes and a Adidas singlet.
Oh, very nice.
Which I might wear. So I might go full Adidas on
what colour singlet?
It's the same colour as the blue, the darker blue colour of this screen recording. So like a royal blue.
Oh, nice. Yeah, nice.
And it will go in my shorts that you can wear as well. Because we've got the same shorts.
Yeah.
And I might wear my Takumis as well. And I was just looking to see if I've got my Adidas socks on. I could go full Adidas. All right. That sounds good. Let's push the boat out.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. So talking of races, I did want to just quickly touch on something that happened on Sunday, and that was the Chicago Marathon. Did you see the results from Chicago?
Well, are you going to talk about the women's?
Mm-hmm, yeah,
because a bit of a head scratcher, isn't it? A bit of because if a record gets smacked, broken by a second or two, you kind of go, fair play. But when it's 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes,
2 minutes, it knocked off.
Yeah.
And it's not just like it's 2 minutes off a long-standing record. It's 2 minutes off a record that was done, was it last year?
In Berlin,
which was incredible at that time and nobody could believe. It's another 2 minutes off that. The progression of the women's world record is incredible. So if people don't know what we're talking about, Ruth Chepengetich at Chicago was the first woman to ever run under 2:10 for a marathon, and she ran 2:09:56. Now, the world record before was Tigsta Sefer from Berlin in 2023, who ran 2:11:53. So it's all but 3 seconds, 2 minutes faster.
That's a long time.
Which is crazy. And there's been a lot of online discourse about it. And Athletics Kenya have even put out a statement saying stop being so offensive to Kenya and Ruth Chepngetich by not believing the incredible result she'd had, because so many people are putting into doubt the result because of all of the doping scandal that has come out recently. I think in the last couple of years, there's been about 150 Kenyan athletes who are serving drugs bans.
Really?
And unfortunately, Ruth Chepngetich's agent has had some of his athletes banned due to drug use. So that's part of where the skeptics are coming from, is the fact that he's got a history of it. Now, it may be that Ruth Chepngetich is just incredible, and it's not like she's come out of nowhere. She's been running at a really high level for years and like been doing amazing times. And also, this is where the women have a bit of an advantage to try and run fast compared to other women that the men haven't got. And it's the fact that she had a pacer for the whole of the race. The only point she didn't have a pacer with her running either just in front or next to her was the last 100-meter sprint.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So she's got a pacer who comes, I think he came 9th overall out of all the men. And he's pacing her throughout the whole race. So it could be that she's got an extra boost from the pacer rather than something else. But it's just incredible, isn't it? That it can go 2 minutes quicker.
Yeah, that margin is. Didn't she run like a 4-minute? One of her last miles, like mile 23 or something like that. I'm sure I heard the commentators saying she ran something like a 15-minute 5K split or something. Or no, would it be quicker than that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know, but it was a ridiculously fast.
To run sub 2:10, you're running sub 5-minute miles for the whole race. You're running about 4:54s or something like that for the whole race.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame, isn't it, that the first thing you think after a massive world record gets smashed is, wow, I'm going to have to get several points of validation before I can really say well done.
Yes.
And even then, I still won't believe you.
Yeah. It's a massive shame that it's got to the point that so many Kenyan athletes have got popped for doping, that now any Kenyan that runs well, you're skeptical of, which is such a shame.
Do you think they're tested, the day before or on the morning of, or, it can't be the morning of, can it? But
definitely she will have been tested before and after Chicago. So only time will tell what happens with those results. So we'll see.
Yeah. But there were I'm trying to think if I remember who won the men's. I can't remember. It was about a 2:02, wasn't it?
Yeah, John Correa. He ran 2:02.44.
So now the Chicago has
both world records. Yeah,
both for the men's and the women's. It's arguably the fastest of all the majors, faster than Berlin. Do you think, Chicago?
Well, it looks like it now, doesn't it?
Well, it definitely looks like it now, yeah. But it's between that and Berlin, I would have thought. But
definitely.
But it looks like a really, really good race from some of the footage I've seen and some of the videos and things. It does look like a lot of fun. It looks like an amazing city. Yeah. Could you get on with deep pan pizza, deep dish pizza?
I think I would. Yeah, it wouldn't be my preference for pizza, but I'd definitely give it a go.
I'll give it a good go. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure it is. I'm sure you get over yourself quickly when you taste how good it is. But
Yeah, definitely.
we've got a few things we need to just finish up and chat about, haven't we? Because we didn't talk about last week the Strava segment.
I know, that's exactly what I was going to say that we need to do next.
Yeah.
I've just pulled up my phone just before we move on, and it's I screenshot a post that somebody put up about the progression of the men's and the women's marathon world record.
Yeah.
And since 2003, the men's world record has only gone down just over 4 minutes. And that's including Kelvin Kiptum, who ran just over 2 hours at Chicago last year, which still is a bit surrounded with a bit of skepticism by some people, whether it was 100% or not. But we'll never know, because obviously Kelvin Kiptum is no longer with us. But yeah, since 2003, so in 20 years, the men's marathon world record has gone down by 4 minutes. But since 2003 until now, the world record has only been broken 3 times by women in that time. So 2003 was when Paula Radcliffe got the world record of 2:15:05. And then in 2019, so it took, 16 years for that record to be broken. And that record was broken with 2:14:04. So it was broken by a minute, right?
Yeah.
In 16 years. Then in 2023, Tigsta Sefa runs a 2:11:53. And then at Chicago, Ruth Chepengetich runs 2:09:56.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
So yes, 5 minutes have been knocked off, but 4 of those minutes have been knocked off in the last couple of years.
Yeah. What's happening now? What wasn't happening in the men's game, or what's?
It's slowly come down.
Yeah.
But the women's in this last couple of years has just gone crazy. So
it's aggressively coming down as well.
Yes.
Yeah, it's getting absolutely obliterated. Yeah.
But let's have a look at the Strava segment. So last week's leaderboard. So when I say last week, I mean last week's.
Yeah. Imagine last week's podcast was talking. It's that week. Yeah.
So we missed last week's leaderboard on last week's pod. So this is from then. So this is 2 weeks ago. And the leader ended up being Nicholas Forsman, who ran 87.7 miles. Second was Jack Bancroft with 67.9. And third was Mike Rodders with 67.2. So it's a great run in there.
Solid, yeah. Well done.
Our climbing leaders, in the lead was Mike Roderick with 4,324 foot of elevation.
Nice.
Second was Jordan Knapp with 4,039. And then third was Jack Blackburn with 3,980 foot.
Nice.
So some great work there. And then I just need to find our top 3 ladies. So on there, our top 3 ladies in first place for the ladies was Dee Cook-Rees with 49.1 miles. In second was Lisa Thomas with 43.2. And in third was Aveen D. I'm not sure what her surname is, with 40.9 miles. But she does have a clover. So does that give a clue where she's from? I'm not sure. But yeah, those were our first 3 ladies from 2 weeks ago. So great running from all. And then we can move on to this week's. So this week's last week's leaderboard.
That's not confusing at all. This week's last week.
I know, it's mental. But this week, last week's leaderboard. First for our distance was Michael Roderick with 80.3 miles. Second was Adam Mays with 80.1. So very close at the top there, only 0.2 of a mile in it. And third was Jack Bancroft with 71.5 miles. And then our elevation, our climbing leaderboard, Jack Blackburn was in first with 6,572 foot. Roberto Mendez was second with 5,735 foot. And Michael Roderick was third with 5,358 foot.
Awesome.
But now I need to do some searching for our top three ladies. And we have... I can't find them. So top we've got Aveen D with 22.8 miles. Second we've got D Cook Rees with 20.1 miles, and in third we have Charlotte Taylor in 16.8 miles. So great running from all of those.
Lovely stuff.
So we've actually done the Strava segment.
I've just noticed we've got 212 members in the group.
Oh, amazing.
How cool is that?
Yeah, that's gone up again. So yeah, if you are not a member of our Strava group, our Running the Red Line Strava Club, go and join. Go and add yourself.
And I've just seen a post from Liz Brown from 24 days ago.
Oh,
that I think I was thinking, oh yeah, I'll say that on next week's podcast, but did get around to it.
Have we ghosted someone again?
We've ghosted him. Sorry, Liz. She says, hi, Brett and Andy. I did Equinox 24 at the weekend as part of a team and also did the 2 10K races. I was wondering if you both have ever thought of getting a team together. We did it just for fun and we're called the Rugrats. I assume your team would be called Running the Red Line. So first of all, I'm going to have a quick Google. What is the Equinox 24? Do you know anything about that?
I haven't got a clue, but the fact that they said there's 2 10K races, is that within? So is the 2 10K races within a 24-hour?
That's it. So
race.
A 24-hour race run in Leicestershire, by the looks of things, at Belvoir Castle. 24-hour run, day 10K, night 10K. Looks like it's over the weekend of 21st and 22nd this year. Equinox 2024, 24-hour is a running event in the beautiful grounds of Belvoir Castle, Leicestershire. Run solo or in a relay team of 2 to 8 and or in the day or night 10K events. The atmosphere is supportive and friendly. Whether you run a 1 lap in a team or the course record of 21 laps solo, you can achieve your own goals at Equinox 24. Would you ever run a race like that, like a 24-hour race? Could you imagine yourself doing it?
I don't know. I quite like the idea of it, but again, it's that whole thing of running ultras. I've always said that I want to try and get as fast as I possibly can over the marathon. And then when I start getting slower over the marathon, that's when I'll start looking at going longer. Yeah. But I do like the idea of that, the whole camping out and having
like a team.
Yeah,
atmosphere. Yeah, like you run laps. Yeah, that sounds quite fun. That does sound really, really fun. Leicestershire, that's not too much of a jaunt for us. So watch this space. You never know. We could be signed up next year. And it sounds like a day and a night 10K. So yeah, Liz did the hat trick. She's got all 3 medals here. Look, she posted a medal.
Look at that.
So a night 10K.
Amazing.
That sounds interesting. So yeah, pretty funky medals as well. They look like some really good medals. But I think we might have run out of time to go through some of our texts and emails, so we can do that next week when we're back to a scheduled regular programming.
Yes.
But yeah. I think that's it for this week.
Have you got anything else written down that you wanted to talk about other than comments and emails?
No, just that I signed up to Redditch, the 10K, and I bought some new shoes. So I didn't tell you what I bought.
Oh yes,
the shoes. I said to you on or off air, I can't remember. Some of the worst shoes I've ever bought in my life were the Nike Pegasus Trail 4s.
Yeah.
Well, I've just bought the 5s. On ASOS, I saw them discounted, and they got them for under 100 quid, about 92 quid. And they've got a new foam underfoot, which is called React X, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And apparently it's a little more responsive. And apparently it does a little bit better on roads as well. And whenever I seem to run trails, I always seem to be running on and off tarmac. So I thought they'd be quite good. And as I've said before, they sort of double up for me as a dog walking shoe as well, because some of the fields around here are treacherous. So I thought it'd be a good winter shoe to have just as a wearable walk around shoe. Yeah. So I picked up them.
I thought you were going to go for the Adidas Supernova Gore-Tex.
I looked at them, but I don't think that the grip underfoot was doing it for me, because I don't think they were labelled a trail shoe. They were just Gore-Tex Supernovas, weren't they?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure whether they're. I just saw they were Gore-Tex and guessed they must be a trail shoe for that, but I don't know.
Yeah, but I just thought, well, these Nikes I've probably given them a bad rap, but they weren't that bad. They just didn't blow me away. So I
do like the fact that you've gone, the worst shoes I've ever had, I'm going to buy them again.
So they've renegotiated their contract. So I'm looking forward to. But the thing is, I'll stick them on my feet, and if they're no good, I'll send them back before I take them out to the great outdoors. But the colorway does look pretty funky, and it's not everyone's cup of tea. They're purple and red, and most people are probably already like thrown up in their mouths already. But I think they're just going to be a good shoe. I think they're going to be. I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt, because I just hope that they're going to be good. That's what I hope.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Yeah, Nike Pegasus Trail 5.
Excellent. So on that note of rebuying the worst shoes you've ever bought, that they do look pretty, actually.
They do look sexy.
Well, they'll look like that for 5 minutes until you've gone into until you go into the boggy, muddy ground, and then they'll be brown.
Yeah. So, but one step closer to cross country. That reminds me, we had a message from the Quiney brothers asking if you were going to do Midlands cross country relays tomorrow.
Oh yeah. See, I had my name down, but I know what I'm like, and if I went tomorrow, I would absolutely destroy myself, because I'd try and race it. So I've stepped out, and I've backed out of running the relays tomorrow, because I know what I'm like. I'm not in any position to race at the moment, and I would just do myself a mischief.
You're doing a Sue Cook. You pulled out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a shame.
Yeah. So I was really looking forward to it, but unfortunately, it's gonna be a no from me. I just pulled up yesterday, like at the end of yesterday's session, my calves started to really tighten up and lock up like they were made of lead. My hamstrings were a bit sore, and I just thought there's no point in pushing race pace this weekend. And I know I wouldn't be able to go and do the cross country relays and just take it easy. I know what I'm like. There's no way I'm going to go and run that steady.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to take it easy tomorrow. But there we go.
Yeah, good shout. I think that's
a bit of a shame, because I really wanted to go and do it, but But anyway, we still leave it there. And yeah, but
Go on.
before we finish, number one, best of luck to everybody at the cross-country relays, including the Quiney brothers. But we need to send out some good luck shout-outs to everyone doing Amsterdam Marathon, which is this Sunday. So we've got Lisa and Rich and Fraser and several others who I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but have the best race ever. I know Rich and Lisa's training and run up to the race haven't been ideal and haven't been perfect, but they're both going to go out there and give it their best. I know that. But yeah, so everybody doing Amsterdam, best of luck, run well, and best of luck to everybody doing York Marathon, which is on Sunday, including Adam Neal, who we spoke about last week, who is running it. It's his first marathon, his marathon debut, and he is going for a pretty hefty target. So fingers crossed he manages to smash it. And he is also running it with his brother Dan. So, but the Neal brothers will be running York, and I hope they have an amazing race. But best of luck, Ad. Go and smash it, mate.
Yep. So I've done both races, and I can say that both of them are both awesome. And I hope you both have. I hope all of you that are racing either Amsterdam or York have really good races and enjoy the day.
Yeah. So have great runs. Best of luck to everybody this weekend, and we shall see you next week. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Or as they say in France, au revoir. That's for you, Chloe. See? Duolingo's coming in handy. Bonjour.